What up, Wastelanders? Christopher here, Gaslands, NorCal. Thanks for joining me once again for another creation video. That's right, we're going to do some more terrain. Now in the past, I've done a bunch of different kinds of terrain. I've done gates, I've done barriers, I've done ramps, I've done buildings, so I'm trying to figure out what else is out there that sounds kind of cool, that just doesn't go along with everybody else stuff that they do. What about a self-service car wash? So that's what we're going to do this time. So I've mocked up kind of what I'm going to do. Got some walls going on, got the roof obviously, some air conditioning stuff, maybe some things on the side. It's just a mock-up for now, but it's kind of what I'm looking at doing. So the different bays and stuff, maybe have some hoses coming down from underneath and maybe a grate or something in there. So yeah, that's what we're going to do this time to get some different terrain going on. So let's get this thing started going together and we'll see what becomes of it. So let's get to crafting. Alright, so I've got the base. It's about probably 4mm thick piece of plastic card. It's got some texture on it, but I'm still going to go ahead and put some of this AK concrete paste on it. I have not used this before, so it'll be our first time, so we'll see how that goes. For the roof, I'm going to use some of this rough gray pumice just to give it kind of the textured look that you see on some of the older buildings and stuff. I'm going to do a very light coat and probably darken it with some Agrax or something just to make it look more weathered and everything else. Now for the walls, instead of using the foam that I've used before, the plaster, the pink stuff, I wanted it to be a little more sturdier. So I printed off some brick walls. Came in really 2 flat pieces, so I glued them together. We're going to have 2 different bays on the car wash, spaced about yay far apart, and the other one will be over here with the roof on top of it. We've got some AC stuff to go on there, and then the panels for where you put the coins in for the car wash and everything else. So we're going to get the floor and the ceiling all pasted up first. It'll start to paint the walls. I'm going to do it in the dark ivory first, and then I will dry brush the brick red over it so the bricks and stuff stand out. So that's what we're going to do on these. So let's get the floors and ceiling pasted up, and then we will start getting the walls all painted up. So yeah, let's get it done. Alright, so while the ground and the roof and stuff are all drying and everything else, we're going to go ahead and do the brick walls. Got them all painted up in the beige, and so the idea is to go through and get them painted so they look like brick. Now if you ever walk by a brick wall, you'll notice that it's not all the exact same color. There's variations of orange and red and everything else. And we're also going to add some graffiti, so we're going to make these look like this one. Did both sides because you'll be able to see both sides in the car wash. Came out really cool. I'm going to go through how to do the painting of the orange and the red and everything else, grime it up, and then also doing the graffiti using the same sponge method as I do on a lot of the other builds that like the car builds that I do with the chipping and everything else, to make them come out so they're going to look more like brick walls. So let's get these painted up. We're going to start off with just some orange red, and then we're going to go on to some different shades of red, just regular bold pyro red, and then also do some of the red oxide and just dry brushing over them to get them to look like brick. We may even go through and do a couple of the individual bricks to make them stand out a little more, like they've been replaced or whatever, and then we'll go through and add the graffiti. So let's get these dry brushed. We'll go through all the very different variations, and yeah, then we'll continue on. But the demo brick wall that I did looking very cool, so we get the other 2 to look like that, then we'll be in business. So let's get bricked. so I've got the walls all painted and got kind of the area that I want the graffiti to be placed in. So next we're going to go through and make it look like the back is spray painted, because if you pay attention to walls or trains or anything else, you'll notice that the area that the graffiti artists do their spray painting on has like a white or a lighter background, so you can actually see what's being spray painted on. Mainly because these water slide decals are clear, and that's one of the things you need to pay attention to when you're doing water slides. Are they already pre-cut out, or do you have to cut them out by hand? And if you do, you want to get as close to the actual decal as possible. Now, like on this one, I'm not even sure what it says. You'll notice that it's all red. Now, if I just put this on the brick wall, you wouldn't be able to see hardly any of it because it would blend in with the brick wall. So that's where we're going to go through and do the white on the background before we do that. Now, when I do the white, I like to use this P3 Menoth white highlight. You can use any kind of off-white. You don't want to use bright white because you want it to be more grunge looking and everything else. So we'll go through and put it on there, and then we're going to use the sponge method to kind of splatter it to make it look more like it's spray paint. So we'll put the white on there, and then we'll just dab around it, and it'll get more of the spray painty like effect that you see kind of on here. So let's get that done, and then we'll see where we're at before we start doing the grime and everything. We'll get both sides done, but yeah, looking pretty good. So let's get some graffiti going on. Great, now as you can see, we got the decals and stuff all on there, and you see how it looks all spray painted and everything kind of pops through. You can see on the red one, if I had just put it on the brick, you wouldn't be able to see it at all. So doing it on the white background, you can still see everything. So next we're going to go through and we're going to set the decals, and I like to use this Microsol setting solution. You have to be really careful though, you're not supposed to get it on your skin and whatnot, and so you just get a light sheen over each one of the decals, and then you let it dry on your own before you kind of do anything else with it. And this will basically kind of melt it and get it set in there so it gets in all the little nooks and crannies, so it looks like it's got the freshly painted on look. So we'll get that done for each one of these, and then we will go through and get it grunged up with some Agrax, and then we'll do the other side. But yeah, so far this stuff is looking pretty good, and yeah, I'm liking the graffiti. So let's get it all set. Alright, graffiti is all on there, looking very cool. Got the sign for the car wash on there as well. Now the last step for the brick walls we're going to do is to get them grimed up with some Agrax. Same way I do with my vehicles. I'm just going to get the Agrax on there and then wipe it off with a cosmetic sponge, the cheap ones that you get from Amazon. So yeah, and then it'll be looking more like the rest or the other wall, and then we'll start looking at getting them together. So let's get it all grimed up and we'll start getting together. So yeah, let's do it. Alright, we're all dried up and everything and ready to be assembled. So we're going to be putting the walls about 3 inches apart, and I want it about 1 inch from either end. So it's going to be going about right there, and then we'll do it 3 inches to make it all even on there. So 1, 2, 3 is right there, and then the final one will be going right there. So we'll get those glued on there. Got some little bits and pieces. We're going to also glue on the walls, some exhaust systems, got some hose and everything for the car wash. But let's get the walls glued on first, and then we'll get the little doohickeys put on there, and then the roof on there, and then get some final touches on there. But yeah, it's looking pretty cool. It's going to be cool. Awesome. Alright, and there we have it. 2-bay Wastelands Car Wash, all detailed up. You got some vending machine stuff going on, some Nuka-Cola and some snacks, got graffiti and everything. Got the little hoses in there for the spray. Got the label or the sign for the car wash, best hand job in town, and some other bits and pieces for the terrain, for the detailing stuff. Turned out really well. Not difficult to do at all. Hopefully I went through and explained enough for how to do the brick walls and the graffiti and everything. So yeah, a really simple build, but would be really cool on any kind of Wastelands table. I intentionally left it so you could actually go through the bays, so you could have it like a cutaway, so you could, make a sharp turn and go through the bay or whatever to get from one side to the other if you have things blocking off on your table. So yeah, looking forward to using this on the next battle just to see how it turns out and stuff, but had a lot of fun doing it. Really like the graffiti and stuff, like I said. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, do me a favor and hit that like button. My goal is to do weekly videos, whether they're vehicle builds, terrain builds, battle reports, whatever. So if that's for you, please hit the sub button below and ring the bell to get notified when new content drops. I do sell all my builds pretty inexpensively on my Etsy page, so if you want to pick something up, see what else I've done, you can even request a custom build. You can even request a terrain custom build. If you'd really like to show some love, head on over to my Patreon page and get signed up. Every bit helps keep the paint flowing, the printer printing, and the camera rolling. Until next time, keep your foot on the gas and your finger on the trigger. Gaslands NorCal, signing out.